me on all my other platforms so you can stay connected with me during or through all the stuff that I do. And I want to apologize for not being in my regular setup today. I couldn't go to my office. If you follow me on Instagram, you know, because there are certain things happening in LA, and I figured it would be safer to stay put today. With that said, welcome to Own It, you guys. Thank you again for being here. I'm so appreciative of you guys being here. Today we have an amazing show. My name is Cicely. So allow me to introduce myself first and foremost. My name is Cicely. I have been in Los Angeles for the last 10 plus years. I have been pursuing a career in entertainment for that long, since 2013. And I have truly loved my journey. I have done it all in entertainment. I have been in movie sets. I have been a model, ring girl for boxing, a beauty queen as of last year. I've done it all in the entertainment industry. And the last thing I'm doing is I'm a live streamer. This is something I really enjoy doing, just how you enjoy being here, right? And I think there's so much that we can all learn from each other and being in this live streaming community. So that is my intention with this featured show, with Own It. My intention with this show today and every Tuesday is for you and I to become the best versions of ourselves through owning the uniqueness of who we are. Because I believe that we all have a story worth sharing. Not because my story and my path and my journey is different than yours. It means that yours is less important or vice versa, right? Not because you're, I don't know, a doctor. It means that I'm less important than you. We all have a story that is worth sharing. And I believe that when we do and when we own it, we own who we are and we share who we are helping other people, even if we're not aware of it at the moment that it's happening. I don't know. That is my philosophy of life, and this is what I want to share with you guys. I want to also let you guys know that because it's a feature show, I may not be able to address each and every single one of you guys individually as you're sending me comments, as you're sending me gifts, which by the way, thank you for the gifts, as you're sending me hearts, because it's a feature show, right? But I will be taking time and making pauses during the show to acknowledge my, the people that are engaging with me in the comments. If there are questions, if you're giving me favorites, thank you so much. And if you're gifting, I will take breaks in between each guest to give shout outs to you guys, because this show would not be what it is without you guys. And my first shout out actually needs to be for last week's guest. If you missed it, if you didn't know, the one and only Chris Casper was on the show last Tuesday, and he was my top gifter. So shout out to Chris Casper. Thank you for being on the show, for blessing the show. It was my first time interviewing him on here. We had a great conversation. And yeah, it was amazing to have him on. So do not miss Own It every Tuesday, because you never know who is going to be a guest. You just never know. So thank you guys again for all the gifts and just your presence here. Thank you for the favorites. I am looking at everything. I am watching it. My comments are on. So today's show is very special. We have a very special show because I figured, well, it was actually, let me take that back. It was not my idea. It was not my idea. It was actually Papa Bear's idea, because we did a Mother's Day special after Mother's Day, and Papa Bear was like, hey, if you do a Father's Day special, I'm down. I would love to be a part of that. And I said, you know what? That is a great idea. Let's do it. So yes, you guessed it. Today is dedicated to all the fathers out there. All the fathers. I know there are a lot of fathers on here on the app. So thank you for being a good parent, for being a good father, for the hustle and just sharing your energy. And today we have two amazing guests who are both fathers, and they're both fathers of two. So I mean, go figure, right? What the coincidence in that. So today we're celebrating all the dads and what it means to be a father. Okay, so if you have your own thoughts and comments or ideas, drop them in the comment box, because I'm going to be reading absolutely all of them and sharing with you, and we're gonna have the conversation about that. you guys know that I like to be vulnerable with you guys, and I think I've shared my story on here. I didn't really grow up with my dad, so this is a very special show for me, because even though I didn't really grow up with my dad, I can appreciate, and I always have appreciated, men that are actual good fathers and that are out there giving their best for their kids, right? So I'm super excited to talk to both my guests today. Thank you, Papa Bear. If you guys are here, thank you again. Thank you for your energy, for just spending this hour with us. And I'm super excited for this conversation today. Please follow me on Instagram at Cicely Marin. And yeah, and let's get the show rolling. Who wants to go first? Papa Bear, do you want to go first? Or I guess, yeah, let me. Okay, I'm going to invite my very first guest of the day today. Let me do the introduction. He doesn't really need a lot of intro. I think everyone knows him on the app because he's so loving and sweet. So he's a father of two, a musician, a teacher, and in his own words, and I quote, a longtime fan of Own It. Please, everybody, welcome to the show, Papa Bear.
Hey.
Hi. It's so good to see you.
Good to see you. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you okay.
Okay. I don't have my regular setup either. So.
No worries. I see you fine. You look great. Thank you, Papa Bear, for being here. You've been a longtime friend of mine here on the app, and like one of the biggest supporters of the show. You've stepped in when I've needed you. And like, I just want to say thank you so much for that. You're an amazing person. I'm so happy to have you on the show again.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And Jay had messaged me, guest who might be late or is probably going to be late. He's picking up his kids from practice. So his dad duties might prevent him from his streaming stuff, but we'll find out.
We shall see. It's okay. It's totally understandable. So Papa Bear, I know you, but for those of you who don't know you on here, who might be new, introduce yourself, please.
Yeah. Well, and I've been hit or miss lately with the app. I've been streaming since August of 3 years ago, whatever that would be, 2022. Hey, I can do math. Yay. No, I started checking out live when I was recovering from chronic pain syndrome. And what I discovered was, it was nice to have that socialization, because I just, the whole getting out and about was really difficult to do when you're in pain all the time. And at some point, people noticed that I had a guitar in my profile picture, and they're like, "Oh, do you play guitar?" I said, "Yeah, I play guitar and I sing." And it's like, "Okay, you should come up in the box." So I'd start jumping up in the box and singing. And then I got, "You should stream." I'm like, "Sure." So August of 2022, I started streaming. And yeah, I've been on and off, done a lot of the different contests. I've been on a variety of featured shows and the games. And in the last year, yeah, we'll go about a year and a half, I've had COVID once, the flu, a norovirus, a parent, my mom passing away, heart issues. What else do I have here? Another surgery for an intestinal thing. And so it's been a little crazy. And,
No.
Yeah. So yeah, I stream here when I can. But yeah, and I need to just really commit again to being here more often.
Yeah, so I was just gonna say, I'm sorry to hear that you've been through so much in the last year and a half. I had no idea. I know you mentioned to me last time about your mom, but I didn't know you had all those things happen. So
yeah, and it's been over time. So yeah, and but life goes on, and mostly good. I'm in the preparation. I'm in the process of preparing. I may actually finally get myself to the Philippines. I'm a big fan of the Philippines. I've got some really good friends I've made here on the app. One special one, and we
do tell.
Yeah, and well, we're best friends with potential. We'll leave it at that.
Listen, best friends is a great foundation.
Oh, it is. That's my belief. And every time over the last 3 years, I've known her for almost 4 years. And over the last 3 years, I've planned to go to the Philippines several times, and every time something comes up. First time I had house issues. Second time I had, I think, COVID, and then I had uh, the heart stuff, and then I had my daughter needed help moving, so I had to, fly out west and do that. And every single time and do I hear cross audio?
I don't know.
I don't. So it's been a little, yeah. So crossing fingers as I make plans this time that nothing is going to pop up and be like, oh no. So I'm knock on wood. So
Knock on wood, and I hope that for you. I wish that for you that you're able to go and meet her and see if there's something more there, right?
yeah, or just just to put face to face meetings and with some of my other friends that I've met through streaming and be able to.
Yeah, and that's the amazing thing about streaming and the app too is, you make so many friends. You can potentially meet your person. You never know, right?
Yep, and that's what I'm I hope for, because this person is she's made a huge influence in my life in so many different ways. And I'll just say I'm a better person for having met her, even if we have plateaued and this is all we ever get to is this best friends. Like, it's all we ever get to. It's a huge thing.
Well,
But
you just never know.
yep,
So Papa Bear, talking about being a father, you're a father of two. How old are your kids?
my oldest is, I'm doing the math with the months, and they'll both turn their next age in about 2 months. One is, this is terrible, I'm getting old, uh 23 this year, and the other will be 29 this year. So my daughter is 29, or will be, and my son will be 23.
Amazing. Wow. You're a young dad because you don't look like you have a 30-year-old kid.
Thank you. I'm writing on a high. Well, and okay, a couple things. One is Zell, who's the person I'm talking about from the Philippines, has really helped me lighten up more in life and laugh more. And it was her encouragement, because I used to have my head shaved all the time, and she was the person who said, you probably would look better if you let your hair grow out. I was like, yeah, but okay. And so now
It's
we've got
grown.
we got long hair now. And that, and just in general, being happier in life, I've actually really, in the last couple of weeks, I'm very excited because I've got 3 different people who didn't know me, had nothing to gain by lying to me, have all guessed me in my mid 40s, and I'm just like, yes. Which reminds me of one of my kids' stories I have to tell today. So my son, who's on the spectrum, at one point I turned 46, and he says to me, Dad, 46, you're getting old. He's like 8. I'm like, no, I'm not old. I'm 46 is mid 40s. He goes, no, Dad. 45 is mid 40s. 46 is late 40s.
He's smart.
He was, and I'm just like, ow. Yeah, I know. It's like, I know. That's what I said to him. But in the last couple of weeks, I've been guessed at 45, 46. I'm just like, yay. And so your comment was wonderful. Thank you. And what was great about, my son who did that comment, I always balance out that one with another really positive story. And that's about a year or two later after that, we'd moved, and I'm working on this garden I have on our deck. And he came up to me, goes, Dad, why do you always have a garden? Because I'd had gardens for previous several years, or a few, like 3 or 4 years. I said, well, Grandpa always gardened. When I was a kid, Grandpa always had a garden, but because of his Parkinson's, he really can't do gardening anymore. And I felt really bad. So I decided I would always have a garden to honor my dad, because he was such a gardener. So it was my way of honoring my dad. And he goes, okay. And he walked off. I go back to, working on the garden. He comes up to me about 10 minutes later. He's like, Dad, if I ever have kids and I have a garden, and if they ask me why I have a garden, I'm going to say it's to honor my dad because he honored his dad.
Aww.
At that moment, I'm like, can I buy you something? Do you want an Xbox? Do you want, I mean, it really was like such an endearing term. And yeah, and it's amazing because, my dad, the last 2 years, I mean, I've learned so much from my dad. He passed, I think we just hit 9 years this April since he passed. And my mom was always sad because she was hoping they'd be married 60 years and he died just months before they would have had their 60th anniversary. And we're all like, Mom, just round up, tell everybody 60 years. No one's going to go do the math.
Yeah.
But he always had a garden. He was that guy who would have this, 50 by 60 foot by 20 or 30 foot wide garden in the backyard, and would go around the neighborhood with bags of vegetables when they were, like, here, you want some? We got cucumbers, we got zucchini, we got tomato, and he'd just hand them out. And one year he was like, I'm not doing the garden anymore. And we're all like, and I felt so bad that's when I decided I got him some big planters and then some tomato and some pepper plants, I think, or tomato and cucumber plants, something he could easily put on the deck and walk around the outside of the deck, and they'd be at the right height for him to take care of. And they'd be simple enough that even with his Parkinson's, he could manage doing that. And for 3 or 4 years, that was my spring thing, is I would go get him the plants and we'd go and make sure we get them all put in. And then and one year he goes, yeah, don't buy me plants this year. And I was like, wow. And it was just such a crush. It was like, this is my dad who now can't garden.
It's okay.
No, Sammy is.
I'm gonna take this second and make a quick pause to welcome everybody into Own It. If you're just tuning in and you're just getting here, thank you. I appreciate you so much. I appreciate your energy. Thank you and welcome. My name is Cicely, and this is the featured hour, the featured show called Own It, that happens here exclusively on the live streaming community of Meet Me every single Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time or 2 p.m. Pacific Time if you happen to be on my side of the world. And today on Own It, we are honoring and celebrating dads. All of you guys, all of the amazing fathers out there who have sacrificed and who still sacrifice a lot for their kids. I truly appreciate them, and I appreciate you, if you're a father, for being here, because a lot of kids are better off because you decided to take on your responsibility of being a father. So thank you so much. Since Father's Day is right around the corner, I figured, why not make this show a celebration for fathers and all of you guys out there. So while we wait for Papa Bear to come back, well, he's here, but I'm going to go ahead and give some shout outs to my top gifters of the day today. Top 3, Papa Bear, thank you. Number 2, not the real PB, okay. And number 1, MC. Shout out to MC for always being here and supporting the show. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And to all of you guys, thank you for the favorites, for the follows, and for just keeping in touch and being here to Own It. So today I'm speaking to longtime friend of Own It, Papa Bear. He's, I feel like everyone knows him on the app. At least that's the way it feels to me. And he's just an amazing human being. He's a father of 2. And today he's sharing his experiences as a father, things that he's learned. I don't know my second guest. Jay, can you update me on our second guest, please? I'm not sure if my second guest is going to be able to show up just because he has father duties today, but that's okay. So we will figure that out. But as of now, I want to continue to talk to Papa Bear. And, Papa Bear, you have the name Papa on your name. Why?
And that's great. That's one of the things on my little list here is, so my eldest, my daughter is actually my stepdaughter, but I married her mom when she was 4, just turned 4. And so I've always been in her, I've been in her life since she was just 4 years old, and her dad wasn't always there for her. We'll just put it that way. But we wanted to respect that relationship, that was her dad, so that's separate. So when her mom, my wife at the time, gave birth to Oliver, we're like, what do? We don't want it to be like he calls me dad, she calls me by my first name. And so we were trying to figure out, and we came up with Papa as a word they could both use to call me. So I was Papa to both kids, and Dad we always knew was her dad, who lived far away, and et cetera, et cetera. And so that's where the Papa came from, and the Bears just came out of the I'm pretty protective as a dad, and I take care of my kids and I make sure they're safe, and very bear energy about my kids. And so you throw the two together, and that's where Papa Bear came from.
So you mentioned earlier, and I mean, I've known this because I've known you for a little while now, but you have one of your kids is on the spectrum, and you're actually an advocate for autism, if I remember correctly.
Yep, because I'm also I'm also on the spectrum, which I know because my son, who was diagnosed at like 5, one day, he's probably like 10 years old. I'm watching him nap. I just looked in on him, and he's napping. It's like he's laying on his nap exactly the way I do when I nap. And I was like, gosh, he's just such a little version of me. He's such a mini me. He's exactly the way I was when I was his age. And oh my God, my son who's autistic was exactly the way I was at 10. Huh. So I went and got evaluated, and that was a whole fun process because the doctor's sitting there and he's got his little clipboard. I'll do my doctor thing here. And he's got his clipboard, and he's like, so tell me your name, what do you do? And I said, I teach. He goes, what do you teach? I said, a couple of colleges here. He goes, oh, what do you teach? Public speaking and interpersonal communications. And he literally stopped, looked up at me with like, I'm sorry, what? I was like, yeah, I know. It's for someone on the spectrum to be teaching interpersonal communications is kind of funny, because the one thing most people on the spectrum, most neurodivergent people is not necessarily good at interpersonal communication. I said, well, it's like I didn't understand communication growing up. I was always confused. And so that led me to study it as an area of interest, was communication, and ended up, teaching it. So.
And you never knew you were on the spectrum until your son?
Correct. So I was like 50 or 51 or 52 when I was diagnosed being on the spectrum.
Really? So they actually diagnosed you?
Yep. So I went in, and after everything was done, he goes, yeah, and I'm in that, that what used to be called Asperger's category of autism. So, and so I started as an advocate for him, and then ended up realizing that, for me too. And the biggest thing for me was just some clarity. So many things just made more sense when I saw it through the lens of someone on the spectrum. Like a friend of mine moving away and far away, and she was like, I can't believe you never asked me out. And I was like, I'm sorry, what? She goes,
You're like, I didn't know that you were interested.
I know. I was like, what? She goes, I gave you so many hints. I'm like, you might have. I didn't get any of them. I'm so, but why are you telling me this as you're moving away? Why didn't you just move? No. Part of me was like, I don't know why you're telling me this now and not like a year ago or 2 years ago when I could have actually done something about it. And it's just, there's other relationships, it was like, oh, well, that explains that relationship, and that explains this one. And so many things made more sense when I looked at it through undiagnosed autism, perspective.
So it's okay. So I want to ask you for first, in case there's anyone on here that might be wondering, I don't know, but first, how are you able to tell if you have a kid that might be on the spectrum? Because to my understanding, I could be wrong, but it's really difficult to tell when they're very small. So as a parent, how can you tell?
Yeah, for some of it, when it's more of the profound autism, it's a little more evident earlier on, because there's the verbal skills aren't there. They don't, a lot of them, a lot of kids who are autistic uh, and profoundly autistic at, or what they call classic autism, at 1.5 or 2, when most kids are talking, still aren't talking and don't develop speech. And then there could be the sensory issues. Like my son, we knew, I was sure he was autistic before the doctors did, because he would do the classic things. Like he had the he'd do the finger things to self-stimulate. He would
Mm.
walk on the balls of his feet. So like instead of walking flat, he would walk on the ball part of the feet. And it's there's a thing in autism which is sometimes opposites are true. So like pressure, like it felt better to have the pressure stronger on that part of the foot than to have it be, spread out evenly.
Mm-hmm.
So it's little things like that. And he would spin at times, he'd sit there and, spin around. And there's a lot of things like that. Although he read and his language was great, the other symptoms. And that all autism ends up being is to be diagnosed. There are several categories of symptoms. You have to have a certain number of symptoms, and they have to be severe enough to cause or impact negatively your life. So if everybody has some symptoms of autism, which is a much more appropriate way than saying, well, we're all a little autistic. Drives me nuts when people say it. It's like, no, we all have symptoms that fall under the umbrella of autism. That's not the same as we are all a little autistic. The other one that drives me nuts is I was in a show with somebody and he asked me, he goes, why do you keep saying your autistic brain needs to wrap around? Why do you keep bringing up saying that you're autistic? And I went, because I'm autistic? He goes, really? You don't look autistic. I was like, hmm.
Yeah. Also, some people don't look like they're sick when they're very sick. So it's the same.
Exactly. It's like, yeah, what does I don't look classic. I don't act like classic autism. I got it. I don't, I'm not Rain Man. But who actually wasn't autistic? The guy they based it off of wasn't autistic. He had a different neurological condition, but and the causes, I saw someone mention causes, no one really knows. There's some genetic link, like the fact that there are some clusters in families. Um, there's some genetic link between like ADHD, autism, and bipolar all have a genetic component they share. So who knows? It's one of those things where it's like, if you're worried about your kid's development, get them checked out, be your kid's best advocate. And that was the hardest thing in school. Trying to just like, I would, starting second grade, every year Oliver started school, I would talk to his teachers. I'd say, hey, at some point in the next few weeks, I'd like to come in and just address the class with Oliver about what autism is and isn't, and how to, interact with someone on the spectrum, and just, get some of the information out there for kids that might not otherwise get it, or they might get the wrong information. And every year teachers were really, in grade school, were really receptive to that. And so we'd come in and do that big talk. And Oliver liked it because it was like, okay, now everybody knows, and they know that if there's loud noises and he does this, that it's not him being weird, it's because his ears hurt when there's a siren going off in the school, and it actually causes physical pain. And it was really helpful. But then as he got older, it seemed to be harder to explain to the higher grade teachers the situation. And it was just such a challenge, and like knocking my head against the wall sometimes.
Yeah.
So I had to be, I had to really kick up my advocacy with him. And I had to explain to the teachers, like, this person over here might be a specialist in autism. Well, you're a generalist. You know a lot about autism. I'm a specialist about my kid. I know my kid better than anybody. So I need to, you need to respect the fact that I have information you don't, because I live with this child and you don't. And I'm also I frustrated them because I was also educated. I had a bachelor's degree in social science. I had a master's degree in theater with special populations. I was on the spectrum. So I had just And one teacher was like, well, but you're not a specialist, you're not a professional. It's like, what part of did that? He goes, well, because you don't have doctor in front of your name. Like, neither do any of the people here that you are relying on a specialist. Let me help you help my son.
Yeah.
And he was that same teacher was like at one point goes, can I just be frank with you? I said, sure, bring it on. He goes, well, I just don't, have you ever tried disciplining Oliver? And I was like, wow, what an assumptive question to ask. You're assuming I've never tried disciplining him, and you're assuming all discipline is the same, that it works the same with all kids, and kids on the spectrum require a whole different approach to discipline than kids who aren't on the spectrum.
Yeah, no, that's interesting that he would say that to you. But welcome everybody to Own It. Thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate your presence and your energy. This is a featured hour that happens here on the live streaming community of Meet Me on Tuesdays at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. And today the topic is we're celebrating fathers. We're celebrating the beauty of being a parent, of being a father, since Father's Day is this Sunday. And nobody that we can do that better with than Papa Bear, who's been a long time friend and supporter of the show. And Jay, I want to quickly, give me an update. Is the second guest going to be able to show up? What's going on? I also want to take a quick pause and give a couple of shout outs. I want to first and foremost say thank you to Magnus Maximus for being here, and for, I'm listening to Papa Bear, but I'm also reading your comments, for engaging, and your opinion is appreciated on here. Also Emmanuel, who's been doing the same, and you're welcome. And of course, shout out to my amazing admin Emoji J as well, and to my supporters of the day so far, my top gifters. Number 3, Not the Real PV. Number 2, MC. And number 1, Emoji J. Thank you guys for supporting the show. So so my second guest is still in traffic. He might not be able to make it, so that's okay. He's almost home. Okay, keep me posted, please. Let me know.
Yeah, one of the things I want to share too, one of the other stories I had written down here that I always like to share when I talked about talking about dad, is my dad was abused by his dad a lot, and his dad was an alcoholic, and my dad, was older generation, didn't know what to do with that, but also knew he didn't want to pass it on. He didn't want to be the same sort of dad to his kids. And so he made a choice to never hit his kids, which he didn't have a dad who did that. It wasn't that he was always like the, wonderful dad. He still, he would pull away. He there's a little bit of the threat of violence, like you think it might happen. And what we had happen was, I discovered as I got older, like, he was doing the best he could. And he did an amazing thing by breaking the silence of physical violence. And when I saw that, I realized what a huge, choice that was for him. And it made a huge impact on me. I committed to being a better dad than my dad. And when I was telling Oliver the story one day, he said, so Dad, does that mean I'm going to be a better dad than you? And I was like, I really hope so. And I'm pretty sure that if he ever has kids, that he will be a phenomenal parent.
I love that. And that's what else can you want for your kids, right? So yep. Thank you, Papa Bear, for sharing your story so much. I want you to give some shout outs to your streams or the stuff you have going on.
Sure. Can I, because right now I don't have anything pressing, I don't think. Can I just do a quick song before I go?
Well, my second.
No, if we don't, that's cool.
Well, you can do it at the end. Is that okay? Because I want to make sure that my second guest has time to still get in the box.
Yeah. That works. I'll stick around, and if you have time at the end, I'll pop up and do a dad song at the end.
For sure. I would love that. Okay, I'll see you in a minute. Okay. Thank you, Papa Bear. Yeah, you guys stick around because we're going to see Papa Bear again. This is something I love doing with my guests, by the way, is I like bringing them back at the very end of the show together. So, I can be the plug and they can meet each other if they haven't met, and we can just end the conversation, the future hour, on a high note with both my guests. So before we move on, I would love you guys to please favor both my guests today. Just quick reminder, favor both my guests, keep up with their streams, go show up with them, okay? Connect with them. And hit that favorite button and just be here every Tuesday on Own It at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Okay, I would love to continue to build this amazing community with all of you. So I'm going to go ahead and share with you the quote of the day today. And as you know, because the topic of the day is all about fathers, I found this quote. Now, this is a very famous quote, but as you guys know, I love sharing things that truly resonate with my heart. I don't do anything differently. That's how I do things. And even though this is a very famous quote, at least I've heard it a million times, I think is very relatable. And it reads as follows. Any man can be a father, but it takes someone special to be a dad. Any man can be a father, but it takes someone special to be a dad. I mean, interpret it as you must. I love this quote. I think it's an amazing quote. And, I just want to celebrate all the fathers out there that are actually doing what they're supposed to do. So thank you to you for being amazing. Thank you to all of you guys for being here. I'm going to invite my second guest of the day to the show. He's ready, right? He's here. Okay. Let me see. Okay, perfect. Okay, my second guest of the day on Own It. He finally made it. He's a father of two as well. Two amazing kids. He's born and raised in West Africa, but located in Florida right now. And I'm really excited to get to know him. He goes by Christian Single. So welcome to Own It. Is it DJ Blueprint or Christian Single? I'm confused.
Yo,
Oh, you made it. Welcome to the show.
the traffic got a bit out of hand. I had to take the kids to practice, so we made it.
Okay, daddy duties come first. I truly appreciate you taking your time to even just show up in the last few minutes. Really appreciate you. I know you gave me like a couple of things, but please feel free to introduce yourself to everyone on here.
All right. Well, hello everyone. I go by the Blueprint or DJ Blueprint. Some call me. I like to play music. I'm a DJ, live stream DJ as well. I'm a full-time dad, full custody of two babies. I have my daughter. She was 3 days old. Now she's 6 years old. I have my son. He was a year and a couple months. Now he's 8 years old, and we are the 3 Musketeers.
I love that.
Yeah.
Is that your real setup behind it, or is that OBS?
It's a content creator room. It's a real setup. Yeah.
Oh, wow. That is so cool.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's an actual pool table. It's a new habit I just picked up. I just started playing pool. So something I do around the house.
That is so cool. Okay, so you have amazing kids and you're a streamer. How do you handle and juggle all these things?
I mean, honestly speaking, at first, when I first got, like I said, I got my kids who were really little. I had two babies. I was changing 2 diapers at once. So it was a bit harder at first, but over years goes by, it gets easier. Like for myself, for example, I just couldn't know how not to be a father. My dad been in my life all my life. My parents been married for 50 years and plus. They're still together. I mean, for my background, my culture, where I come from, I don't know. We don't know what's not being a father. So that's pretty much all I do. I give them my all, and I just want the best out of them. And like I tell everyone else, my kids are my investment. I call it investment. I don't call them children's. Because in the long run, I'm not going to nursing home.
In our cultures, that's not really a thing,
Right.
I love that. So to you, I have some questions written down, by the way, that I wanted to ask either one of you. But so what can you advise someone who's still young and is becoming a father?
Honestly speaking, do your best. It doesn't come with a manual book. It does not. You learn as you go. You know, kids, people tend to say kids are just children. No, they'll teach you, learn something every day. Just give it your best. Treat them like you would want to be treated. Personally, that's my personal opinion. Just give it your best. Yeah.
What is something that you want your kids to remember you by?
One thing all my kids remember by, the dad was always smiling. In my home, there's only 3 of us here, so I tend to trying to keep the temperature kind of, because I'm the foundation. You know, it started off with my brand. If my mentor is on stage, my mentor is where it's supposed to be, their home gonna stay calm. So I want my kids to remember always that dad that was always calm. You know, it was easy to talk to, because a lot of parents, for example, my parents are African parents. Everyone was touching and talking to them. You know, they were more up to their self, more of being open, closer to their kids, if I say. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's very important. Yeah, I wouldn't know about that, but that's very important. I admire you for that, you know. Okay, what is something that in your opinion everyone should know before becoming a father that maybe you wish you would have known?
Honestly speaking, whom you have those children with. That's all I say. That. Just be careful who you have kids with. You know, get to know the person. You know, and one thing I've learned, the apple doesn't fall. When the apple fall, it don't fall far from the trees. Get to know the family. You know, dig deeper from whom you're having kids with. You know, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, no, for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have any kids, but yeah, that's exactly why I don't have any kids, right? Because you have to make sure that you know that that person is going to be present in your kids' lives, even if you're not there, even if you're not together, you know?
And also, it all comes down to knowing what the person wants without those kids. Because some people, it takes, like you said earlier, it takes a parent to raise a child. Anyone can make a kid, but it takes a parent to raise a child. See the mental, you know what I'm saying? It all comes down to the mental. See if they're stable enough to be able to raise a child, you know? And that's one of the big mistakes here people have in America. They're just having kids, and I mean, yeah.
So, okay. So in your opinion, what's one of the most important things that you've taught your kids?
In my opinion, one of the most important things, do not judge the book by its cover. That's one thing I tell my kids every day. Get to know whom, get to know whatever you're doing first before you come to an end conclusion of it. You get what I'm saying? Like, okay, before you say, no, I'm not gonna do it, give it a shot. And make sure your shot's 100%. Give your everything. Now, if it doesn't work after that, walk away. Just remember, you give it all. You give your all of it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I love that so much. I have a couple of other questions, but I want to ask you in the box with Papa Bear. But I want you to talk a little bit more about yourself, about, you know, how long you've been on the app. And I just want people on here to get to know you. I think you have amazing energy, and I want them to go and watch your stream. So what are you all about?
All right, well, I go by the blueprint again. I love playing around with music. I'm a live stream DJ. I probably got one of the best playlists on the app. Just saying. I'm that comfortable. And yeah, I like music. On Wednesdays, I DJ on live stream Wednesdays and weekends. I'm fairly new on the app, you know, still making my way around. None major. And I'm also OBS user for my OBS users out there. But yeah.
Are you, do you have a streaming schedule or not really?
Not really. I just got started. So far, my schedule are Wednesdays music and weekends music, Friday and Saturday music, yeah.
Wait, are you new on here?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, welcome. How long?
I appreciate it. I say like 2 weeks, a week or two, something like that.
Oh, you're new.
Yeah, numbers don't lie. I mean.
Wow, that's so cool. Well, congrats. And I love that you're doing your thing and putting yourself out there on feature shows and connecting with us, with the community. I love your energy, so please make sure that you stay connected. You know, for example, Papa Bear has been a long time friend of mine and of the show, and I always love bringing like guests back. So if you're ever interested in coming back, just let Emoji J know. Yeah, I think we have a pretty cool community on here, and welcome to meet me. You know, I wish you the best on here.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
Have you? What do you think so far of the community?
I mean, so far so good. You know, we are humans, so I go off the energy really. You know, if the energy, the vibe's right, we all there, you know. Because at the end of the day, we all human. Certain people, they do whatever they want. I'm just the type that don't judge. You know, I go with my own energy, my own line. So
I love that. I love that so much. So I was gonna say if you have anything to shout out, but I think you've shouted everything out, right? Like, I mean,
pretty much. Yes, pretty much.
I love that. So let me invite Papa Bear back in the box so I can have a couple of, last words with both of you guys. And while I do that, you guys, I want to welcome you to Own It. We're in the very last minutes of the featured hour, but I do want you to know I so appreciate your energy. I appreciate you showing up. Every Tuesday, I have returning friends that support the show and new friends, and I'm so grateful for each and every one of you guys. Yes, diamonds are always appreciated, but your energy to me is more important. Just your support and you listening and hopefully learning from my guests' stories. Like I always say on Own It, we become the best versions of ourselves through owning the uniqueness of who we are. And I just love that I can have guests that are so different, so diverse, and we all have different stories. And I think we can all learn from each other and support each other. So if you want to be a guest on the show, make sure to contact Emoji J, as he's my admin, and he will add you to the guest list. So without further ado, I am going to invite Papa Bear back in the box, and I'm going to ask you final questions to both of you, since you're both fathers and you're both amazing fathers. Did you guys know each other?
No.
Not at all.
But
Well,
I totally respect your approach, Blueprint.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I love that. So you guys, okay, let me see. I want to ask you guys more questions and tips on being a father, because gosh, no, there's a lot of people out there that need this for sure. Okay, so can you give me some tips on being a better parent?
You want to go first?
Sure. I have two things that come to mind right away. One is, let your kids have their emotions. And what I mean by that is, if they're sad, let them be sad. Let them let out their sadness by crying. We're so rushed to, no, it's okay, or don't cry, it's all right. It's like, but they're sad. To tell them don't cry says what you're experiencing isn't valid. Let them cry. Oliver got that message early on, and he would come home from school if he had a hard day and was like, I'll tell you about it in a minute. Go to his room, he'd cry for a little bit, and he'd come out and go, okay, here's what happened. And he's probably one of the most well-adjusted people in the world I know. And the second one is, be honest with your kids. If you mess up, acknowledge you made a mistake, and don't double down. The phrase, because I'm the parent, drives me insane.
Right.
Like, yeah, if you have to rely on because I'm the parent, then your case isn't strong enough in my world. You should be able to, with the kid, be like, this is why. Boom.
DJ Blueprint?
Well, personally, I feel to be a better parent, you just gotta be patient. Patience plays a lot. I mean, patience is the key. Because, like I said, parenting don't come with a manual book, and children's, how would I say it? They learn from us pretty much. They don't know what they're doing. You get what I'm saying? And you gotta be patient, because things that you're teaching those kids, right? Your kids are your reflection of you. Anything you teach those kids, they go out there in public, they are the reflection of you. So me personally, I just be really careful on things I do around my kids, say things I say around my kids, because kids, they remember stuff. Their brain is more fresh, than ours. That's why we're just my own experience again, because I watch them grow every day. The characters change overnight. Even the physique. When they wake up every morning, I see change with my kids every day, even when the personality, your interaction. Be careful how you interact around the kids. Be careful how you speak. It's a lifestyle, pretty much. I'll say it's a lifestyle to be careful. Like you stepping on a shell, pretty much. That's what I say. Just be careful. That's all.
That's very true. And we've been talking a lot about what you teach your kids, but now I want to turn it around and ask you, what is something that you have learned from your kids?
All right. One thing I've learned from my kid, I'll take you guys inside the kitchen real quick. I'm trying to make this street food.
Go ahead, plug in, it's fine. All right, one thing I've learned with my kids, you know, growing up, I always thought kids were just children's, you know, they're all kids. Kids are all the same. No, they're not. They are not the same. Boys and girls are two different ballgames. I'll say right now. Girls, the patience, I don't know, maybe because I'm a father doing this, so it's a big, I'm learning every day, especially with my daughter, right? But with my son, it's more like, okay, I've been through that stage. I know what I'm doing here. You know, with my daughter, I'm guessing, but I'm making sure I'm having it. Like the most best accurate guess I can be, I can't say pretty much. You know, so pretty much I've learned boys and girls are different. The genders are different. You know, and yeah, that's what I'll say.
Thank you, Papa Bear.
Yeah, and this one goes back to it's more about what being my kid's dad taught me, and just their presence in my life. It's part of what helped me understand and forgive my dad better is seeing me as a parent, and my plate was far less full than his was. And so to be like upset with him about how he was as a parent when I'm realizing I'm losing my temper with my kids, and I only had one kid in diapers. My dad had like 3 or 4 kids in diapers at one point, and it's like I learned a lot from Oliver being in my life, just on how to forgive my dad for my mistaken beliefs about him.
That's very important. Yeah. So you guys, you both are amazing fathers, and I'm just curious, what are some things that people can do, people in your life can do to make you feel appreciated? Because a lot of times I feel like good men don't feel that appreciated.
Well, you could extend school till like end of June, so that Father's Day falls within the school year, so we get the kids art also. It always drove me nuts is like Mother's Day happens during the school year, so mom's always got the paintings and the projects and the drawings, and then school would let out just before Father's Day, and it was like,
What do we get?
yeah. And you know, and there's some summer programs and other things, and some teachers be like last day, you know, last couple of days of school, like, okay, now we're going to make a project for your dad, and you take it home and, you know, hang on to it until Father's Day. It got better. Acknowledging that dads today aren't the dads of 40 years ago. It's, you know, there's a lot more single dads. There's a lot more, yeah, a lot more single dad. I mean, Blueprint's a great example of this. And I was too, and I'd go to school functions and they'd be like, okay, all your moms out there. And I'd be like, yeah, hello. Yeah, by the way, there are dads out here too, just saying.
Yeah. DJ Blueprint.
Me personally, I'm just grateful for the family support I have. I'm the only one in my whole generation raising kids by himself. And that goes from my dad's side of the family or mother's side of the family. No one, everyone's with husband and kids. And I'm the only one doing it with myself. So I have a great family support, strong support behind me, which I'm grateful for. They'll speed dial the way by my kids. And like I said, I'm still learning what I'm doing. So far, so good. Can't complain.
I love that. Well, you guys, thank you so much to both of you for being here. I really appreciate you, you know, wanting to be part of the show. And I want to, I don't know what the right term is, but I want to end the show. Oh my gosh, sorry. Sometimes my Spanish and my English are just like convoluted in my mind. But I want to end the show with Papa Bear singing the song that he wanted to sing for us before. If you still want to do that, Papa Bear.
No, I'd love to. And it's called The Walk by Sawyer Brown, and it's really personal to me. It's one of the songs I sang the first week and I streamed, and I almost didn't make it through because it really mirrors my journey as a son and a father. It's about this little kid, first day of school, and the bus, and that was a big issue for Oliver because of something that happened. And then it's the weekend I sang it the first time was he was going off to college for the first time. That's the middle section, is the adult growing off, and the last part was the dad's getting old, and my dad was, you know, died of Parkinson's. So there's a lot of stuff. So here it is. Down a long dusty driveway, didn't want to go, but I said I with tears in my eyes wandering. Daddy took me by the hand, he looked out at the school bus and at his little man and said, don't worry, boy, it'll be all right. 'Cause I took this walk you're walking now, boy, I've been in your shoes. And you can't hold back the hands of time. It's just something that you've got to do. So dry your eyes, I understand just what you're going through. 'Cause I took this same walk with my old man, boy, I've been in your shoes. Down a long dusty driveway, I set my mind to go. I was 18 and wild and free and wandering. Daddy took me by the hand, he looked out at the world and at his grown man and said, don't worry, boy, it'll be alright. 'Cause I took this walk you're walking now, boy, I've been in your shoes. And you can't hold back the hands of time, it's just something that you've got to do. So dry your eyes, I understand just what you're going through. 'Cause I took this same walk with my old man, boy, I've been in your shoes. Down a long dusty driveway, this time we both would go. He had grown old and gray and his mind was a wandering. Daddy took me by the hand, he said, I know where we're going and I understand. Don't worry, boy, it'll be alright. 'Cause I took this plain walk you're walking now, boy, I've been in your shoes. And you can't hold back the hands of time, it's just something that you've got to do. So dry your eyes, I understand just what you're going through. 'Cause I took this same walk with my old man, boy, I've been in your shoes.
Woo!
You go, Dad. That was nice.
That was
Thank you.
beautiful, Papa Bear. That was so nice.
I love it. I love it.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for that song. And to my guests, thank you for being here. DJ Blueprint, welcome to the app.
Thank
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate it.
Of
You're going to do
course.
great. You're going to do
Please
great.
reach out anytime. Papa Bear is amazing. You can reach out to me anytime, please. And Emoji J as well. Just feel that like you have a community here already. And Papa Bear, thank you again for being one of the OGs for me and my show and one of my biggest supporters on here from day one, the last 2.5 years. Thank you so much. I'm so appreciative. And for you both, thank you for being amazing fathers. To all of you guys watching, thank you for watching the show, for being here. I hope this was inspiring, uplifting. Shout out to Magnus Maximus, who's been commenting and interacting and giving us feedback and talking to us. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Please stay connected with us. Shout out to, let me see my top gifters right now. Number 3, Emoji J, thank you. Number 2, I can't read, Error, I guess. And number 1, Magnus, thank you so much, you guys, for everything. And please, you guys, come back because I'll see you here next Tuesday so you and I can own it.
That's right. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.